To achieve a double-sided print using this method, I will require a printer that can print white. Let's start by looking at the artwork I'm going to use on this example. This is a double-sided image, so I have created two individual signs. If you wish to use the same message on both sides of your design, then you would need only create one sign and duplicate it in the wizard. My signs are made up of a back and foreground image. The two different foreground images share the same overall outline path, which is crucial to making this effect work. If the two objects were different in shape, it would spoil the image once the clear spaces were added. Once I begin, I will need to make sure the objects are grouped correctly. The wizard will pick up on any individual object, so it's important to combine the elements required for the fore and background images respectively. In my example, the man and sign are currently ungrouped. I'm going to drag a box around all the objects here and then group them together. Now the back and foreground is made up of just two images. This needs to be the same for both the front and back parts of my double-sided print. With both of them selected, I go to the Layout menu and select See-Through Sign Wizard. I now confirm I have read the license agreement and click Next, and then select the double-sided see-through sign on clear vinyl option. Again I click Next, and in this next window I'll specify the base layers to be used. For this example I'm going to use 3 base layers. This preview will give you a better idea of what's going on. This first sheet represents the substrate the finished image will be applied to. Next I have my bottom image, and then I have added 3 base layers. Layer 1 will be white, Layer 2 will be black. This will prevent the image from one side showing through to the other. And lastly I have added another white layer for opacity, and then the top image. It's possible to add more layers of white for greater opacity, but this is very much specific to the images you are printing and the device you choose to output it on. Clicking Next takes me to the Sign Layout window. Here it's simply a choice of selecting my fore and background images for each side. The preview will help you make the right choice. Okay, so I can select my back and foreground images for the top part of the design and then the bottom part. Highlight white can be added to the images by checking these boxes, but bear in mind this is not necessary on a thermal printer. Clicking Next takes me on to the Alignment Position window. Here I can alter the position of the foreground images in relation to the background. I'm going for central alignment. Substrate position simply lets you define whether your finished print will be mounted above or below the glass panel it's applied to. Remember, this example is to have a foreground image with no clear spaces applied to it, so I must leave this box unchecked. By ticking this, spaces I choose would be applied globally across all objects. There is obviously nothing wrong with this, but this is not the effect I'm looking for this example. Next to Pattern Selection. Selecting Custom Pattern will let me define a series of transparent lines across my image, whereas Predefined Pattern will allow me to customize and apply clear spaces. An example of how to apply lines using Custom Pattern can be found in the AVI on producing the single-sided see-through sign on clear vinyl. For this test I'll use Predefined and show you how to apply spaces to the background. Okay, next I'll select the pattern and cell size to be used on the print. The pattern can be chosen from this default list, but it's also possible to create custom patterns in SignLab and then save them to this menu. In SignLab I have a vectored path of my dolphin. I got this image from the animals section of the CAD-Link Fonts and Clipart CD-ROM. The first step is to draw an equal-sided square on the screen and then place the pattern in the center. Now I select both objects and go to the Transform menu and select Render See-Through Pattern. Now it's simply a case of assigning a name for the pattern. The default resolution and color depth can be left as they are. Now when I click OK, the pattern will be added to the See-Through Sign Wizard for future use. So returning to the wizard, I'm going to use the default pattern and cell size for this job. In this window it's possible to apply different patterns to the foreground image. My example will have no clear spaces in the foreground image, so I'll tick no here, and that's my image ready to print. Double-sided signage can be really effective when used in the right place, and this wizard makes it simple to achieve.